time. We're hitting nostalgia time. So let's take a step backwards into memory lane. We have Shogun Rua versus Ovince St. Preux. Now, let's be honest here, AJ. Both of these fighters have been on a little bit of a skid as of late, right? OSP, 2-3 in his last 5. His last 2 losses have both been knockout losses. Shogun Rua, he is 2-1 in his last 5. 1 draw to Paul Craig, 1 knockout loss to Paul Craig. A split decision win against Big Nog, Antonio Rogerio Nogueira. He knocked out Tyson Pedro, brother, who we just saw made his comeback a couple weeks ago, so that's important. But he also got knocked out by your man, Anthony Smith. First round TKO, elbows. So it's not looking good for either of these fighters, you know what I mean? Coming in, it's kind of like a loser leaves town match, and we're going to talk about that also with the next fight. But listen, OSP, we've seen a considerable drop-off in OSP's performance as of late. Now, he's been having to fight these young guns, right? The Tanner Bosers, the Jamal Hills, Alonzo Menafields. Obviously, you get the Ben Rothwell. That's the OG fight. He lost a split decision there. But then you get the Michael Alexichuks. Like, it's been these young guns now. When we're talking about Shogun Rua, it hasn't really been that same cloth, right? Tyson Pedro has really been the young gun, and I guess Paul Craig, I guess. But these were just 2 different types of last 5s right here. What do you make of OSP's recent performance where it just seems like, and I don't want to be rude at all because, listen, man, this dude's a legend. You have to respect OSP. It just doesn't seem like he wants to be in there. You know what I mean? Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, man, the word I was using in my notes was lackadaisical. He's very much, he'll step in there. And there's times, man, in the Alonzo Menafield fight, this dude comes out and he's looking hungry, he's looking mean, he's looking youthful and vibrant and all the adjectives we like to use to describe somebody who's in there who wants to be in there. And then you go into that Tanner Boser fight or a couple of other ones, man, where he just looks flat-footed, unengaging. Like there's just something about him where he just stands like an old school fighter, chin up in the air, not really caring too much, and then bad things start to happen. I did not see the OSP losing to Tanner Boser at all until you see him fight that way, and then you're like, oh, okay, yeah, this dude, you know, he's looking the same. Even in the Jamal Hill fight, and Jamal Hill's an amazing fighter, but he really just took it to OSP where OSP didn't have anything to do with it. He just took the standing TKO, man. He wasn't even really out. He was just getting beat up so bad that the ref was like, yeah, bro, like you're obviously not here mentally. You don't want to be here. You're not defending yourself. This is done. If that OSP shows up, it's going to be a rough day for him. Mauricio Shogun, who is going to come back looking like he's drinking out of that Arlovsky fountain of youth, man. So lackadaisical is the word I use best for because he really does. He looks like he doesn't want to be there. If that's the case, it's going to be rough for him. What do you think? Well,
I think Shogun Rua has that insane blitz that he still uses. I mean, it's an old man blitz. He's 40 years old. You know what I mean? This isn't 2011 anymore, 2008 anymore. It just blows my mind, bro, because I just remember, like, as a kid watching Shogun Rua, playing with him on the video games and all that. This dude is such a monster. This dude has 21 knockouts, brother. 21 knockouts and 1 submission. He has 22 career finishes in his long, like, almost, 40-plus fight career. So it's like, yeah, man, I mean, this is really one of those OG matchups, and let's see if he can still put on that same blitz. We haven't seen him in a couple of years, since like 2019, right? So this is the question mark. I don't know what Shogun Rua is going to bring to the table because, I mean, you could talk all you want, but what are you actually going to do? If he does blitz OSP in that first round, do you think he has enough juice in the tank to be able to finish OSP and OSP just shells up? Or do we see the OSP against Alonzo Menafield where he shells up, hits him with that big counter hook and just tries to take his lights out? What do you think?
Yeah, that right there is a coin toss for me, Derek, because I saw Shogun Rua's best route to victory is blitz. Yeah. Be that bulldog, be the dude who's going to be in OSP's face and make him quit again, because we've seen him do that in the past where he just stands there. If that's the case, yeah, good. But then there's that OSP that can always do that exact same thing that we think he's going to shell up, and then land a big one. Yeah, dangerous style for OSP, but we'll see if Shogun can actually get it past him, because if Shogun can do that, weathers that big punch and then keeps the gas pedal on, how many big punches do you think OSP has left that he can actually get done?
That's a great question, brother, and I don't have the answer for you, but I do have something pertaining to talking about quitting, right? You said OSP has some quit in him, but Shogun Rua tapped to strikes in his last fight. Tapped to strikes. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. You tap when you tap. If you feel like you cannot defend yourself properly, it is not worth taking the damage in there. Please tap. But if we're talking about giving up, that's part of giving up, right? You'd say, I want to live to fight another day. There's no more. Tap. That's it, brother. I want to be done. and he did that. So Shogun Rua is going to have to overcome that in this fight. OSP is going to have to overcome that, but at least he said, you got to turn the button off. You know what I mean? I'm not going to give up. You got to hit the button, and that's what happened in both fights. So AJ, brother, let's talk props, right? Plus 210 is Shogun Rua. I'm kind of surprised OSP is a minus 260 favorite. It makes sense because he's been more active, but then again, he hasn't fought really recently, right? He's been fighting like once a year, maybe twice a year. When we're talking about props for OSP by TKO, so look at that. It's just too many abbreviations, right? Ovince St. Preux by TKO plus 375. Shogun Rua by TKO plus 200. Those are the best odds on the props thus far, man. If you want to go points, Shogun Rua on points is plus 300. OSP on points plus 500. If you think OSP could somehow, some way get a Von Preux choke on Shogun Rua and call it quits right there, plus 1,400 for the submission prop, brother. So what are you liking out of those?
Ooh. I mean, that plus 14 by submission is always a thing, man, because there's something, like you said, man, you got to combine those names, man. Von Preux all day. It's a choke that can happen at any point with OSP fighting in there. I kind of like that a little bit more, man. Originally, I was going to go by TKO because I can see big bombs landing in this fight. I like that submission, man. It's a long shot, but it's a big shot, and it's a shot that has happened in the past pretty frequently. Yeah. And especially with Shogun, he gets a little tired, kind of seizes, and then that blitz, they get in a clinch, they go to the ground. Next thing you know, Von Preux is locked up. Mm-hmm. I can see that happening, man. I can see it happening.
I can see it happening, but then again, Shogun Rua is no rookie to the game. This is a chiseled veteran. He's only lost by finish 6 times in his like nearly 40-fight career, so I don't know if it's going to happen right now. You never know. But believe it or not, even though I really like all of those props, even though I think OSP could hit him with a nice counter shot to try to finish the day, even though I think Shogun Rua might be able to finish OSP, I actually see this fight going to a decision, brother. I think that this is going to be a slow, banger, old man, nostalgia fight. I think we're not going to get the results that we want, but I think the names are enough to get us excited to want to watch. So I'm picking OSP by decision. The over and under is 1.5 rounds on this one. I am taking the over, brother. How do you see it?
Yeah, you said over 1.5. I'm also taking the over. I'm going to go OSP. I'm going submission, man. I'm going late. I'm going early round 3. So still with the over. Early round 3, OSP by submission.
And hopefully it is by a Von Preux, because the last time that he got that one wasn't really too recently, but it was against Michael Alexichuk. That was a second round Von Preux choke. So we will leave that for what it is worth.